Hey, artsy friends. I'm doing something a little different today. I'm going to do a how-to tutorial on how to make homemade stamps for super cheap. I spent $1 and I think I made at least 20, if not more, and I had materials left over. So grab a piece of cardboard from a box that came from Amazon or whatever, and the 99-cent piece of foam with the sticky back. It has a peel. So you can get it at any craft store, I'm sure, in the little kids craft area. And the foam itself is like maybe a centimeter thick. And you start by just cutting out shapes. You can be kind of random. You can be intentional. It's whatever. It's kind of fun to just see what comes out. So that's what I'm doing to start with. I'm just creating lots of shapes, and then I'm going to put them together and create my stamps. So it really is as simple as it looks, just cutting out shapes and peeling off the back and sticking them to the cardboard. I think it's much easier to just create the stamp part before you cut out the cardboard. That way you can always just make it to size rather than cutting out pieces of cardboard and then trying to arrange it on there. So that's the thing. That's all there is to it. So I love the kind of randomness of it. I'm a very random person when it comes to art. I find beauty in the most random of things, but they're not always random. Like, okay, it's like when you're going for a hike, and I think I've used this example before, when you just stop and like maybe you're in a stream and you're looking down at all these randomly placed stones and little plants sticking out or whatever it is. But it's so perfect. I love that about nature. So anyway, I kind of am like that in my artistic approach where I just kind of let things unfold. I don't usually have a very clear vision of what I'm doing. I am just making it up as I go. So I'm doing a little spiral here, which is going to end up being 2 spirals. So I thought about changing directions from the middle, and I thought, this is difficult. So I'm coming back out, and basically after you do your first spiral, you go and cut out the in between the cuts that you've already made, and that's how you're going to come up with 2 different little spirals. Isn't that fun? Yay. So the reason I'm doing this, ultimately, it's the whole process is fun. It's creative, but I have a tendency to shy away from store-bought tools and stamps and stencils and all that. Actually, I do have a lot of stencils. I take that back. But I just like, when I'm art journaling, I like everything to be kind of from scratch, so to speak, which is interesting now that I think of that term, because I don't really love to cook, although I pretty much do cook from scratch. So maybe there's a correlation there. Yeah, so when I make marks on my page, there are some things that I never understood. Like, you can get a stamp that is like a stick figure, and then you're like, well, why don't you just draw a stick figure? I don't know. So I want to make stamps that are kind of like unique and that I know came from me. So I'm experimenting with a few other hole punches, and they're not fitting, so it's not going to work. The only one I got to work was just the single hole punch. So pretty much scissors is going to be your main tool for creating stamps. I do not have a Cricut machine, but I don't know how it works exactly, if it can handle thick layers of things, but I think that would be another fun way to make stamps, is to design it on your Cricut software or whatever kind of, maybe you have a die cut machine and you can cut out your own foam that way. That would be really cool. I don't know, maybe someday I'll get that. Okay, I have 2 different thicknesses of paper here, and one of them, I think, I don't know what they are. Actually, I'm just starting with the thinner, cheaper paper first, and those 4 ink pads I've literally had for probably like 15 years at least. I don't know. So I didn't know if there was really any ink left on them. I used to do paper scrapbooking, and so I would do a little bit of stamping and things with that. And I'm a digital scrapbooker when it comes to my family's photo albums and things. And so really this about a year ago is when I started, just a little over a year, started getting back into more of the hands-on art because I discovered art journaling, which is so fun. It's funny because I started downsizing like art supplies and because I was digital and then now I've I've broke open that bank all over again. So now I've got all kinds of supplies. But I'm also a very frugal person, and we have not had much of a budget this last year. So I've really stretched the materials that I have had, like all these old things that, sat in a box for a decade. I am pulling out now, which is fun. Like the more that you have to come up with ideas on how to use things that you're not using is very satisfying. Anyway, this little shape reminds me of a mountain with a moon or like a sunset over a mountain or something. I don't know. For some reason, I think of Colorado. So I think I prefer using acrylic paint as opposed to an ink pad for my stamps. And I'm just using a little rectangle makeup sponge that you can get from like your pharmacy or order it. And they're super cheap. I don't know. It's like a couple dollars for like 100 of them or something like that. So you can clean them up and try to reuse them a bunch of times or cut off the edge to reuse. So as I am experimenting and playing around with each stamp to just see kind of how it comes out, I am going to create some collage materials. Oh, that was my daughter. She wanted to show off her stamps she was making. She's a really detailed person, and she has always made her art tiny. Isn't that funny? Like ever since she was a little kid, I'd give her a full page of paper. Some kids would just take a crayon and like make giant scribbles. She would make tiny little marks, and she's always done that. Like her art has always been in miniature. So she made like little miniature, like a dinosaur, I think. And what else did she just show us? I don't know. They're going to make another appearance in this video. So I'll show you all the stamps that she's making, but she's making way more detail. I'm cranking out all these random shapes and she's over there making, turtles and dinosaurs and animals and things. So I love the spiral, how that's turning out. Don't you? And then here's my little flower power thing, doesn't it? It's kind of little hippie flower. Oh, there's her snail. There's her T-Rex. Oh, a mountain scene. Yeah. I thought it was really cool. She actually was the one that figured out just by using another tool and making indentations like in the snail shell that it'll show up. So, and in the mountain. So see how like she's adding another layer so that you see the spiral in the shell. So, hey, I learned something from my daughter. She's 15. Okay, so I am trying to layer and overlap now some of the stamps because I know that, did I already say that? I'm going to use this as collage material for some pages. This is my favorite page of all of the pages that I'm working on. And another idea for my daughter is use 2 different color paints on your stamps. That's an option. Oh, that's when she stamped her little dinosaur in the bottom right corner, and I didn't even notice it for like, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. And finally she was like, do you notice anything different about your page? See up there, top left corner? And it took me a while before I even saw it. And this is one of her stamps as well that she made. Isn't that cool? I love her little zigzag pattern. So I guess this is a collaborative piece. Oh, here she comes again. What's she doing now? Yep, another dinosaur. Which leads me to the point, I think this would be a really easy, fun craft for kids. I think if they have the dexterity to, handle scissors, then they can do this. This is really easy and fun and unique. Okay, these paints are Waverly brand, and there's copper, grass, agave, and plum are the names of the colors. And I don't know if they are discontinued or if they still sell. I think these 4 came in a set. That would make sense because they really go well together. So I guess you can look those up if you're interested, if you like those colors. I'm liking it. So far, I think this is my favorite of all the pages that I am doing. I think I like all the spirals and then the green lines. Those are, I think, some of my favorite stamps of this little collection. And these are fun. These little dots, this is another favorite, I think. This is another thing where it's, you know, you could just get a Posca marker and make a bunch of dots, you know, but it's fun to have patterns, and I suppose the arrangement of the dots is its own pattern. So, ooh, isn't that looking so fun? Yay, I love it. Okay, so fresh piece of paper, and here are all the stamps that I have not used yet. So, oh, and I did this piece of, I just tore off the top layer of one of the pieces of corrugated cardboard to make stripes. And ooh, look at that. I love it. I love how that turned out, and that's really easy. Well, I think I've pretty much explained everything you need to know how to do this project, and so I hope that you're inspired to go give it a try. It's super fun. I'd want to go make more stamps already. If you want to find out how I use these pages in my art journaling, make sure that you subscribe so that you can see the next videos that are coming out. I've already actually made the first page with them, so that video will, I try to space out my videos about 4 days apart. I've been trying to get ahead of myself so that I have a little cushion, going on vacation next week. So yeah, but come back and hang out with me again. I hope that you enjoyed. Oh, I am doing a whole page on with my daughter's stamps. So snails. Oh, and she did this really cool hashtag. Here, I told you I was gonna stop talking to you, and I'm still talking. My husband will tell you that is very common. Oh, another thing I'll mention, since I'm still talking, is just switching back and forth between different pages so that it allows the paint to dry a little bit in between, and that way you're still moving and doing stuff, but you can just alternate back and forth. And acrylic paint does not take very long to dry, but you don't want to smudge it. Yeah. Okay, I'll leave you now with music, and I hope to see you again. Have a blessed day.